Okay, students, I am sharing with you a document here in the chat box, which will be uploaded on the website by Monday maximum, along with the volume 1 of the notes. I have not uploaded the volume 1 of the notes. In fact, the last night I was going to upload, I was just going through it, and so I thought some, necessary updates, which I started last night. A few touch-ups are required. I will be uploading that in the, on the portal. You can download over there. So here in the chat box, I have shared with you the lecture plan AA in front of you. Now, so students, let me share my iPad screen with you. Student audit and assurance, the subject, how we will proceed. The story is in front of you, the whole detail, the lecture plan is in front of you. And we will be starting with today itself, some introductory lecture. It is assurance engagement. And then we will proceed with some introduction of planning and controls. So this is what we will be doing. And there will be test one. Test one after this. This test, and then will be, and there will be a lot of practice, you see. Practice will be ongoing. And then we will start with the next section, audit evidence. And with the longer practice, then test two. Then is audit risk, audit report, code of ethics, then test three. And ethics completed, corporate governance, test four. Students, this is the 17 lecture plans, but with mutual consent and collaborations. If you agree, I can extend. This is the tentative plan. 17 lectures are must. If you want, the last session, in the last session, I conducted 24 lectures. Yes. Practice, practice, and practice. And then there will be 3 mocks. 3 mocks. First time I'm doing it. Because yes, one thing, sorry. I forgot to mention. Because there is Ramadan during this session. So most likely here will be in the April. 14th may fall because of the mood, depending upon the moon sightening. If there is Eid, then I may give you a recorded session, or I may conduct an additional session on some other day. Okay, then there'll be 3 mocks I have planned. 12th May, first mock, full course. It will be marked and returned to you. Second mock and third mock. 3 full mocks we will be conducting this time. Students, I will be discussing with the content of the syllabus with you people. Yes, the syllabus content, but remember, this is the plan which I have made for you, test plan. It is not the test plan and syllabus plan. If you follow this, it is success plan. You know, I can give you a plan, I can move forward with it, but it cannot be achieved fully if you do not follow this. Right? If you do not attempt the task, if you do not prepare it accordingly, the way I am guiding you, the way I'll be guiding you, it cannot be achieved at all. So that's why your cooperation, your commitment to the subject is of equal importance. Okay? Now, So you know that if I find that you people are working very well and you are just in line with the plan, and if I need that additional session should be conducted for your betterment, I will be conducting happily. Now, without any additional charge, we will be doing that because your success is of prime importance, and that is the main agenda of this subject classes online. And that's why you are here. The reason. Now, students, notes volume 1, I told you it will be available to you by Monday evening maximum in your portal from where you have joined. Great. So, students, audit and assurance, this subject, we can divide this subject into two parts. One is called audit process or audit cycle, and other areas. Audit process or audit cycle is basically, that is what starts with, why it is called cycle? Because it is repeated on each audit cycle. And process means it has definite start and definite end, where it ends, right? So it is basically a type of a project. So when it starts at a definite end, it has time allocated, resources allocated. So that's what audit process is. So it starts with acceptance of audit. It is a professional appointment, and there is a professional way. There are necessary work which is to be done, So acceptance of audit. Then is audit planning stage. How planning is done? What is the benefit of the planning? What are the factors to be considered? How audit strategy is formulated? How audit plan is made? So that we talk about. The next is, yes, internal controls. What are internal controls of a company and how they are related to auditor? And test of controls. We talk about that. The next is substantive tests on financial statements. We audit evidence. Yes. Okay, leave it. Audit evidence. We talk about that, what they are, how they are performed. And the next is review stage of audit and then audit report. This is audit cycle or audit process. Audit cycle or audit process. Now, what are the other areas? We will talk about that. Students, this is 80% weightage in exam on average. 80%, sometimes 85 to 90%. Minimum. %80 weightage in exam, this area. Next comes other areas. They are, yes, what is assurance? We will talk about it today. Assurance engagement, introduction, regulatory environment for audit. Regulatory environment for audit. The next is, what is internal audit? What is codes of ethics? What is audit quality? So it has on average maximum, it is maximum 20 marks weightage in your exam. These areas. Sometime code of ethics is tested in every exam almost. Sometime internal audit is tested. Sometime corporate governance is tested. This is maximum. Sometimes they are for 10 marks only. Students, what are the pain points? I repeat, what are the pain points in audit and assurance? Basically, your examiner, which has given us your syllabus guide, they say that the purpose of this subject is that students understand the concept of audit process and its application. Students, application, very important. So we have to learn that application process, how it is applicable. Of course, we will be talking about concept of audit. We will start. So it means, first of all, is conceptual knowledge. The first stage. I will be explaining topics to you. Clarity about what each stage is. Then that's learning to apply to scenarios. Still, it is not finished. So 1, 2, and third step is drafting answer as per examiner guidance. The next point, drafting answers as per examiner guidance. And if you say, I want to skip one of these 3, no, you cannot. You cannot skip. And all 3 are important. If you learn first 2 only and you do not work on it, you cannot pass the paper. If you are working wholly solely on these only, you lack conceptual knowledge, you cannot write answer. You cannot. So students, so that's why these 3 building blocks, 1, 2, and 3, then this building is complete. And we have to work on 3. Your exam paper, yes. So your paper has exam. In the level 2, only this one exam has 70% marks and 2 parts. All other papers have 3 sections. Only audit has 2 sections, section A and section B. This is objective test questions. 15 questions are there. 3 scenarios followed by 5 questions each. 3 scenarios followed by 5 objective questions each. And it is 70 marks. This 70 marks is constructive response. In which you have to analyze the scenario, write answer as per the scenario. Students, we have to do, in order to achieve the first, of course, conceptual knowledge we will be learning in the class, in my lectures. That will be sufficient. But in order to do this, we need this one. And of course, OTQ as well. We need rigorous practice. We need rigorous practice of these two areas. Without that, it cannot be achieved. And of course, testing is the for I have introduced for the same purpose as well. Now, how we will proceed? Students, I will be providing you my lecture notes, which are tried and tested, right? Because I do updates of my notes every session, necessary updates, and they are tried and tested resource. If you prepare those notes, do the practice, that's enough. But yes, if you want to study additional, students say, I have to study a book because everyone is doing that. Sometimes it happens. Everyone is doing, I have to do that as well. Students, remember, for the conceptual clarity, if you want to study something additional, that is study text on ACCA Study Hub. How many of you know about it, that you have Study Hub and its success? You know about it, everyone? Tell me. When I ask a question, yes or no, minimum in the chat box should be there. Or you can open mic and respond. I'll be happy if you open mic and respond. That will be even more, give me real feel of a class. That gives me. Okay, now, right. So the next we have to do is the practice questions. Section A. For section A, objective test questions, I recommend you again practice quizzes and OTQs on Study Hub. A wonderful resource is there. One. Second, additional Kaplan or BPP kit. Yes, I recommend you should do these two things to prepare section A, OTQs. Section A, objective questions. Then section B. Yes, Kaplan kit I will provide you. I'll provide you Kaplan kit, soft form. Now, then there is section B. For section B, I recommend you again ACCA Study Hub. Wonderful resources there. And additional latest 5 past exam paper. Latest. Available on ACCA practice platform. They are available there. They are available there. Let me show you a glimpse that what I have done in the last class about practice. Just a minute, please. So that you can have idea how about section B. This is what we did in the last class, last session. For audit risk, we did 6 question scenarios in class. Okay. Controls, again 6 scenarios. 6 scenarios. You see, around there are 20, 21, 22 questions which we solved in our regular classes. Scenarios, remember that. We did that. And I am ready to go beyond that even. I need your cooperation. This is I have noted down what we have done in the class. Okay, so these are the 4 past papers which are available, which we did in crash course, basically additional. Okay, crash course. And now latest past paper, that is, yes, December 2023, that will also be available. That will also be added to the resources. Right? That will also be added to the, yes, because it will be published. I haven't checked. It may have published yet up till now. Now, so students, 5 past exam papers. This is the perfect recipe to pass your paper. This is checklist, I must say. This is the checklist. OTQs, these practice questions, right? So if you have done it, no one can, prevent you from passing the paper. I'm telling you. Now, so let us proceed further. Anyone having any questions so far, do let me know before I proceed. Feel free to ask any question you have. All right, proceed please, PP, right? In the chat box, if there's no question. Right. Thank you. Thank you. Just 1 minute, please. Students, when we talk about audit and assurance, the first thing is why there is a need of audit. Because audit is basically, it has a cost for the business. It is a full-fledged activity. It has a cost. So let us talk about it. Students, you may have studied the concept of agency relationship. Yes. The concept of agency relationship. What is that? Agency relationship is a relationship where one party acts on the behalf of another party. So 2 parties are there. One party is acting on the behalf of another party. I ask one of my property agent, property real estate, negotiate a property deal for me. Agent, that person is working on my behalf. I ask you, one of you, that I'm coming to Mauritius, and I ask you, can you please arrange a residence for me for 30 days, for example? And you go and you find out, you negotiate, you are acting on my behalf. So one party, the party which is acting, that is called agent. On behalf of another party, That is called principal. Principal. For example, listen. For example, I asked Mr. X that find an apartment, furnished apartment for me for 30 days rental. I am coming there. Mr. Hamza. So the person, what does he do? He negotiates with Mr. A. That what is your, they say, I have a property in center of the island, an apartment. I can give you a rental of 30,000 per month for this 1 month. For example, Mr. A says that to Mr. X. Now, Mr. X, he got some idea that I should make money from Mr. Hamza. Okay? I am dealing with Mr. A. He negotiated with Mr. A that you charge 40,000. Okay? You keep 32,000, give 8,000 to me. And he directly comes to me, means he has decided something, commission, and tells me, Mr. Hamza, I have rented a flat for you 40,000. Yeah. Mr. X is keeping me in dark, earning his own money, benefiting from this position in an undue way, unjust way. He was my agent, but he is not acting in my interest. He is deriving his own interest in an undue way. This is called agency problem. What is the agency problem? Agency problem is that when agent does not act or may not act, better word is may not necessary, yes, may not act in the best interest of principal. This is the problem in the agency. It may happen. Actually, I'm sorry. When we talk about agency relationship, when we talk about that, so this relationship, law imposes that fiduciary responsibility, fiduciary, RY, responsibility of agent, what that is. Fiduciary responsibility. Fiduciary responsibility means that agent has to act in the best interest of principal and must disclose all relevant information to principal. Yes, must disclose all relevant information to the principal. This is called fiduciary responsibility of agent. Fiduciary. Whatever information relating to that contract is, they must have to disclose it. Now, the next point. So agency problem is there. So now, students, when we talk about a company, the case of a company, directors, they are running the business of company on the behalf of shareholders. Directors are running the business of company on behalf of shareholders. Directors are agent. Shareholders are principal. So now agency problem exists here. Director can abuse their position, may be earning money for them, and may not be acting in the best interest of shareholders. They might be making money for themselves only. It might be possible. And directors, we know that they prepare financial statements at year end. What are financial statements, by the way? We have been studying in a way that financial statements are basically financial performance of the company. We know that. Financial performance of the company, right? Financial position of the company. But in fact, financial statements, if I say, directors are reporting about their performance. We have earned for you this money during the year. We have done this for you. Right? Directors are reporting about their own work, what they have earned for them. I hope you got this point. In the financial statement, we have made this sale, this profit. So we have done it for you. I was your agent. I was managing your business. I have done it for you. So directors are basically reporting their own performance. So here is a point. Here is the point. The directors may not disclose financial information properly, may manipulate that to show, and may not disclose correct information because they are reporting about their own performance. So fiduciary responsibility issue, agency problem. So here comes the need of auditor. Here comes the need of auditor, that there must be some independent financial expert. Independent, which is not linked to director in any way, not influenced by any way. Independent finance expert who examines financial statements of company and give report on the credibility of financial statements. Credibility, which is called truth and fairness of financial. That financial statements have been prepared properly, correctly, as per law, in unbiased way. I'm sorry. Properly, accurately, as per law, in an unbiased way, presented as per accounting standard. So independent finance expert needed for this purpose. That what directors are saying about the company, about their performance, that is correct or not. So we have learned one thing. we have learned one thing. What is the responsibility or role of auditor? What is that? They have to give reports. They have to give audit opinion on truth and fairness or credibility of financial statements produced by directors. If anyone asks you now, what is the role of auditor? You should not be confused. Some students say, sometimes they say auditor detects fraud, auditor does just controls. No, auditor has one role that is above all roles. That is one role, that is report on financial. That is primary role. All other are subsidiary roles. I hope it is clear. Right? So responsibility or role of the auditor. So students, that is clear. Next. The next we proceed, there is another concept that is stewardship relationship. What is stewardship? Basically, the concept of stewardship, it is derived from where? It is derived from agency relationship. It is derived from agency relationship. Agency relationship. So what agency relationship is, we have talked about that. So stewardship is the concept where one party deals with assets of another party. Takes care of, deals, who manage, deals or manage. So responsibility. So again, managing the assets of another party. Responsibility is regarding that. Now, so students, the point is, so auditor is also managing the assets of, directors are managing. So directors are stewards of shareholders' assets. Directors are stewards of shareholders' assets. They are managing the assets of shareholders. Yes. Next. Stewards. They have responsibility for that. And then there is concept of stewardship accounting. What is that? You know, you are managing the assets of company throughout the year. You're managing that. And at the year end, I'm sorry, at the year end, you have to report that how well you kept those assets. It is a report on, it is a report on how stewards have dealt with the assets entrusted to them. Yes. How they have done that? So we talk about it. So then that's why we say that financial statements which directors prepare, it is a type of stewardship accounting. So they are being reports how they have dealt with the assets of the shareholders. Stewardship accounting. Now let us proceed further. So we have talked about what is audit. Now we will talk about now the concept of assurance engagement. The concept of assurance engagement. Students, before I talk about this concept, let us learn it with an example. Mr. X, he needs to buy a car. His budget is 700,000. Right? There is Mr. Z. Mr. Z is his colleague. He say, I have to sell a car. He has a car to sell. The name is Honda Fit. For example, Honda Fit. He say, I have to sell this car. You have to buy, you can buy from me. Now, Mr. X is not sure about. And Mr. Z says, my car is in very good condition. It is non-accidented. You know, it's a very low mileage. Driven by a doctor, lady, for example. You know, the points which people make while selling the car. Okay? So Mr. Z gives all these statements, claims. So Mr. X, now, he wants to be sure about this car before making a decision. Now, focus. So Mr. X goes to a service which is Honda Shore. Honda Shore. Honda Shore is a service, an organization which actually provide, it is by the Honda, the company. They provide this service. They check and evaluate the cars and they charge fee. They are expert in this service. So Mr. X says, okay, he goes to Honda Shore, ask them to check this car, whether it is in good condition, mechanically, physically, history, you know, from every technical aspects. So now, Mr. Honda Shore take this car, they perform work on it, examination, check different points, obtain evidence regarding the car. That the car is in good condition as Mr. Z is saying or not. And of course, evidence, because they have a criteria. There is a criteria of company of a good car. That what is a good car? They compare with that, this car. And at the end, Honda Shore reports to Mr. X, whatever they find. Now tell me, I ask you people, and of course, Mr. X has to pay a fee to them for this service. Tell me, what is the benefit of this report to Mr. X? Report from Honda Shore. Tell me, open your mic and talk to me. Tell me, what is the benefit? I want some simplified answer. Yes, yes, Shivesh, something want to say. Yes, please.
It's independent. Honda Shore.
Okay, Honda is independent. Very good. Very good. One thing, independent. Second, more answers. More answers. They are expert, practitioner in their field, independent and expert. And third, the benefit of this report to Mr. X. I'm asking you, Mr. X can decide now. He has confidence what he is going to buy or not. Mr. Z was saying, making claims, but Mr. X cannot rely that. So with the report of an independent party, the confidence of Mr. X has been enhanced about car, what he's going to buy, whether the car he need to buy or not. He can better decide. He can now decide whether to buy or not, it or not. Right? Now, so you see here, this is a full-fledged and assurance service which has been provided by Honda Shore. So now I will be naming the parties here now. Focus. Honda Shore, it is practitioner. It is called, because they're expert in their work, practitioner. Mr. X is intended user. He has to use the report. There is a report. There is an evidence. There is criteria. There is a subject matter. Subject matter is something which has to be checked by practitioner against a criteria. Practitioner has to obtain evidence. Who provides subject matter? This party. It is called responsible party. So we have studied assurance engagement concept. We have learned that through this example. You see here. So purpose of assurance engagement. What is the purpose of this service? The purpose is to enhance the confidence of user and to enable them in making a decision. This is the purpose of assurance engagement. Next, second, the next point is, what are the elements of assurance engagement? Elements of assurance engagement. elements, 5 elements we have learned already. It is a three-party relationship. There are three parties. One, practitioner. Other is responsible party. The third is intended user. Then there is a subject matter, which is car here, which has to be evaluated. Then there is a criteria. What a good car is. There is a criteria. What is condition? Criteria set by the company. We know that. Then there is evidence which is obtained by, evidence is obtained by practitioner. They work on the subject matter. And then is report by practitioner. So 5 elements of assurance engagement I have picked from here. You see. Now, so this service is assurance engagement. Listen. Sometimes you apply for visa of certain countries or residence permit. They say go and get these tests done by examination by doctor. Bring doctor's report. Doctor is also providing an assurance engagement. They are examining you. You are subject matter. And they're comparing your test report. They are examining you. They are using stethoscope and checking your chest. And, they are examining you basically, health, against a benchmark criteria. They're obtaining evidence. They're preparing a report. That is also assurance engagement. So students, audit is also assurance engagement. Similarly, to assurance engagement, there are so many assurance services in the world. One of them is audit. So audit is also assurance engagement. Now, auditor is practitioner. And who is responsible for? Directors. They provide financial statements. Financial statements are subject matter. Shareholders are intended users. They actually, shareholders, they have to use the audit report. There is criteria against which financial statements have to be evaluated. That is laws and regulation, financial reporting framework. Financial reporting framework. So auditor has to obtain evidence and give audit report. So I have linked it with audit as well. So audit is also an assurance engagement. Now, next. So assurance engagement, if anyone asks you what this service is, it is basically a service to enhance the confidence of intended user. Service by an independent practitioner, expert. They give a report after performing some work. Now, let us proceed further. If anyone has any question, you can ask immediately, whenever you feel like. Okay? You can ask, you can type your question, and I recommend open your mic and talk to me, because typing takes a lot of time. And some students do hesitate that, okay, I have to type this much question. So, they think that it is hassle to type. Yes, it is. So open mic can talk to me. Now, types of assurance engagements we have to talk about. I normally say it is not types, it is levels. Levels of assurance engagements. Levels of assurance engagement. Students, when we talk about assurance engagement, levels of assurance engagement, it is basically with example. With example, let us learn it with that. Let us learn with that. I asked one of my students, for example, I asked the student Aisha that you live in Mauritius. There is one party, Mr. A. Mr. David. Okay. He lives in Eben. There. I have to finalize a business deal about him of 3 million rupees. My life saving. I have to finalize a business deal. I'm investing. Can you go and get information about Mr. David? About his credibility? About that, should I go for a business deal with him or not? Aisha goes, gets information about Mr. David, his credibility from different sources. 5 sources, relatives, friends, etc. And Aisha comes back to me based on this information. Say, Mr. Hamzah, I didn't find anything bad about Mr. David. I didn't find anything bad. I say, are you sure? Yeah, I didn't find, I inquired from these 5 sources. There was nothing wrong I found about Mr. David based on that information. I said, sorry, Aisha, it is a matter of my whole life savings. Can you please get more information? Now Aisha goes, get more information. And now from 12 sources, gets more and more information, whatever is possible, and comes back to me and says, Mr. Hamzah, listen, Mr. David is a credible person. Now, my question from you is that, what is the difference between these 2 statements? Tell me. What is the difference between these 2 statements? Tell me, please.
The first statement is a little negative. The second statement is more positive.
Okay. One SPS, one perspective. This one, yes. Anyone else, please? Thank you, dear. Anyone else? What is the difference?
The second statement is more credible because more sources were used.
Exactly. These 2 points I wanted to know. The both students have done a wonderful job. They have stated it well. The first statement is negative words. It is in negative words. It is in positive words. Here, confidence, assurance is high. More confident words. Here, confidence is less, moderate. Confidence is low. Or moderate, we can say. So level of assurance is different. Why this level of assurance is different? Tell me why. What is the reason? The reason is the work behind that. The work behind. The way I was telling you today, that you do all these questions, follow all this, you will pass the paper for sure. It is success plan. Why? Because I know level of work is high. That is good enough to be confident. Same is the case over here. So level of work she has done here as compared to this, that is high. The reason work is high. The reason work is low. Hence, the confidence is low. Report wording is different. So level of assurance. Come here. We have studied the topic already. We have covered that. And you see here, so level of one statement I want to write here, golden words. Level of assurance is different because extent or amount of work is different. Type of work is same. Type of work is same. If you increase the work, your confidence is high. If you decrease the work, confidence is low. Work is same. Now, so students, we have learned types, levels of assurance engagement. One is called reasonable assurance. The other is called limited assurance. Reasonable assurance is a high level assurance. And when a high level assurance, high level of work is required. High level of work is required. It is low level assurance. Less work required. Yes. So here, report wording is a negative. We have witnessed that. Here, report wording is positive. That's why it is called sometime positive assurance. It is called negative assurance sometimes. Positive assurance and negative assurance. Positive assurance and negative assurance. Now, the next point is students, negative does not mean that some auditor is talking about or practitioner is talking against something. Here, negative words were there. Only confidence is low. They are not talking against him. And why this difference? Level of assurance is different. Why? Because amount of work is different. Same here. Yes, I will write once again. Both sides. You note down here. This level of assurance is different because amount of work is different. Type of the work is same. Note down that once again. Now, let us talk about auditors. Because we are concerned with auditor. This assurance can be in any case of the world, but we are concerned with audit. So when we talk about auditor, so in the case of positive assurance or reasonable assurance, auditor says, in our opinion, financial statements of company give true and fair view of company affairs in all material respects. Positive words. Example. This is example. And here, when auditor give negative assurance to negative words, students, sometimes I move on. If you miss something you have not noted down, you can text me frankly that, Mr. Hamzah, can you scroll up, for example? So scroll down, I have to note down something. Okay, now, so negative assurance. Nothing has come to our attention that causes us to believe that financial statement does not give true and fair view of company affairs. So negative words, not against the company, not against the financial statements. Now, students, under what circumstances, the question is, under what circumstances? Because we are talking about auditor. Auditor gives reasonable assurance and limited assurance. Such reports, under what circumstances it gives? I'm telling you, since we are talking about auditor only, other profession may also give this such assurances. So the answer is reasonable assurance, this one, it is given in case of external audit, which is also called statutory audit. Statutory audit, which is required by law. That audit which is required by law. In case of that reason, this report is required. Means the auditor has to work a lot and give this type of report. Limited assurance, it is given in case of review engagements. Review engagements. What is review engagement? Example I will give you in a few minutes. Review engagement is also assurance engagement, but the amount of work is less than audit. When a company asks me, can you provide a review report on financial statements? I will perform work. Another company asked me to provide audit report. I will perform work over there as well. But extent of work will be different. Amount of work will be different. Where I'll be providing audit services, my amount of work will be high. Where I'll be providing the service which is review engagement, amount of work will be different. I hope it is clear. So I was talking about the review engagement. For example, review of interim financial statements. Mid-year, company produce 3-year financial statements. 3 months, 6 months financial statements. Company produces that. And in that case, they ask auditor provide review report on it. Provide a review report on it. Yes. Now, so students, that is called review of interim financial. Review of cash flow forecast. Company produced cash flow forecast. The next year cash inflow and outflow projections. That this will be the cash inflow, this will be cash outflow. And ask auditor to provide a report. That will be a review report, not audit report. I again tell you, what is difference between the review and audit? The amount of work is low in review. That's why limited assurance is given. If you increase amount of work, that become audit. That become reasonable assurance. Review of internal controls. Company asks that, can you review controls, our control system, and give a report on that? Auditor can do that. So we have learned 2 things. What is the difference between negative assurance, limited assurance, and reasonable? Anyone, any question before I proceed? Anyone, any question, please do ask. Okay, thank you. Thank you. The next is so reasonable assurance, limited assurance is clear. So students, audit firms services by audit firms. We can categorize into two types. One is called assurance engagement services, which we have already talked about. The other is called non-assurance services. Okay, we talked about reasonable assurance, and the other is called limited assurance. Now, limited assurance, non-assurance service, where in assurance service, the purpose is to enhance confidence. In non-assurance services, no confidence enhancement of anyone. No confidence enhancement of anyone. There are some other tasks. For example, there are two types. One is called agreed upon procedure and compilation engagement. Compilation engagement, what is that? Company asks audit firm, can you prepare financial statement for us? Preparation of financial statements, I prepare. Compilation of data, it's not assurance. They said, can you prepare tax return for us? We can prepare. Or other reports, means financial statements, tax return, cost statements. So we are arranging data in a certain way. Simple is that we are not giving, we are compiling the data. No confidence enhancement at all. Now, the next is agreed upon procedure. What they are. Again, auditor is performing what is agreed. For example, fraud investigation. Company says, can you investigate fraud? Can you improve controls? Sorry. Controls recommendation. Improve control, give us suggestions. Simple as that. So what is agreed? Already no confidence enhancement. Analysis of sales by segments. Can you do that? Why sale is falling? Find out. Do prepare a segment analysis, business segment analysis. Simple. Whatever is agreed. Whatever is agreed. No confidence enhancement. Now, students, it is a time for a short break of 7 minutes. Short break. We will be back and I will continue from here. Just stay here. You can, of course, you can say mute, or you can simply state working. We'll be back in 7 minutes. See you. Yes, everyone, now. Students, we have discussed two types of assurance. Assurance, two types we have discussed. Reasonable and limited. There is another type which is called absolute assurance. Absolute assurance. What that is? Absolute assurance is called basically guarantee arrangement. Guarantee that you are giving guarantee of something. 100% assurance. An auditor cannot give absolute assurance of anyone. Any final statement. Auditor cannot give. There are many reasons. Because audit has limitations. So we are going to talk about limitations of audit. Yes. Audit has some limitations. So for example, what are the limitations of audit? Now, so limitations of audit, or why auditor cannot give absolute assurance. Both will be covered in it. First of all, audit is subjective. Audit is subjective. At various stages of audit, auditor has to make decision based on judgment. It is not 2 + 2 is equal to 4. I am auditor, my judgment may be different. Another person's judgment in the same circumstances may be different. Okay? So judgment may be different from person to person. That's why we say audit is subjective. So when judgment is there, chances of error are there. You cannot be 100% sure. Judgment can be erroneous. Errors may be made. Second point, why absolute assurance is not possible and what is the limitation of audit? Sample-based testing is done in audit. During the audit process, auditor performs sample-based testing. Sample-based testing. All items are not tested. When all items are not tested, we cannot give absolute assurance. We cannot give absolute assurance. Now, the next is third. Students, audit report is issued a long time after the year end. Yes, which decreases its usefulness. Year end is 30th for June. Report is coming at the end of September. 3 months, 4 months, sometimes in worse circumstances. So the report is coming about previous year. In 4 months' time, 3 months' time, report should be, ideally, it should be instantly available. But unfortunately, it doesn't happen because work has to be done. Yes. So time it takes. 4. Audit report has inherent limitations of audit report. It has inherent limitation. How? The wording of audit report, I will teach you. There is standardized format. That how report has to be prepared. Standard format is there. So when standard format is there, and this format, student, 4 or 5 years back, there was a different format. And with the passage of time, they thought that okay, it was lacking in that format. So now improve it. So it means human-made format. We may not cover everything, all important aspects. We may miss that because it is standardized format. Standard wording, I will teach you. You will see that we have to use specific words, specific paragraphs. That's it. And it may not cover everything that need to be covered. And audit evidence sometimes indicate what is probable, not certain. There are so many methods regarding financial statements where during testing, for example, we are testing an item on 30th June. An item was related to, the expense was related to last November. 7 months back or 8 months back. So we are testing whether this item is correctly recorded or not. It happened, it occurred. So we are basically trying to find traces and establishing an opinion. Yes, it is likely that it occurred, this transaction, this expense occurred. So not always we can be certain, because so many items are there for which you can rely based on only probability. Then what is high probability based on circumstances? Yes, we cannot be, where you cannot be certain, of course, you cannot give absolute assurance, and this is a limitation as well. Now, students, I talked about audit is of 2 types. Remember, when word audit is spoken, it automatically means external audit. There is an internal audit as well. Internal audit, specifically spoken, that internal audit. Then the word audit means internal audit. The word audit always means audit of financial statement by an independent auditor, external auditor. Audit can be statutory, audit. It can be non-statutory audit. Statutory audit or non-statutory audits. Statutory audit is that audit which is required by law. That audit of financial statement required by law. So companies are getting financial statements audited. Business are getting their financial statement audited. Why? Because law requires it. Otherwise, they have to face force of law. They have to face penalty. Non-statutory audit. Yes, some businesses get financial statements audited. Even not required by law. They do it for their own betterment, for their own needs, to enjoy the benefits of audit. Yes? Student, what are the benefits of it? Non-statutory audit. Where law does not require. Student, public confidence is enhanced in your business. Yes, a mean to settle accounts among partners. Partnership, not required by law to get audit. But in order to settle accounts themselves among partners, they say, okay, get it financially audited. Yes. Helps in negotiation of loans for business. Yes, it helps that. And there might be other reasons as well. I have given some examples. Now, students, the next point is the wording of audit report. I have to explain that. That is the last thing to be done for today. Yes, because it is the first class, I will not, of course, I have covered whatever is, you see, assurance we have already covered. Okay, now, external audit. Now, so, the wording of audit report. You may have heard it many times. I have written a few. In our opinion, financial statements give true and fair view of company affairs in all material respects. Now, there are some words which we need to understand. True, fair, material. Before I go for in detail of this sentence and the words, let us learn it by a real life example. Almost all of you might be using Instagram or Snapchat, right? It happens, we know that. You know, when you, for example, your friend is a fan of a person, modern word crush, right? Fan of a person, I'm just kidding, you know? And you are following that person on Instagram. The person posts a picture every other day, or yes, and your friend heart reacts, you know, over there. One day you go for with the same friend, you go for shopping to the Intermart. And you see the same person, the crush, right? The celebrity is also there for shopping. And you see your friend say, this person is the same. But there is a huge difference what is posted in the picture on Instagram and reality. You know, the pictures, Instagram, the way it is presenting on Instagram, that is a huge difference from reality. So many filters, so many modifications. Oh my God. Right? So it is not the same, you know, that the pictures are huge. There is not some small difference, huge difference. Huge difference. So you can say the pictures posted on Instagram, you will not forget it, I'm telling you. Does not give true and fair view of this person in material respect. A huge difference. Does not give what is presented to us, pictures, reality, huge difference. Does not give true and fair view of this person. This person actually looks quite different. And what is posted, what is shown to us, huge difference. Oh my God, heartbreak. Right? Now, so the same meaning of financial statements. Financial statements are just like Instagram pictures. Auditor has to check that financial statements, they're pictures of business of the company. Auditor has to check that financial statements which are being prepared and presented by directors of company, they are showing the reality of business or not. What is the difference? If there are small difference, it's okay. There should not be major difference. There should not be major difference. So if there is not major difference, then auditor says, in our opinion, financial auditor checks that, verifies that, perform audit work, that what finance statement are showing, what actual business is, and then says at the end, in our opinion, financial statement give true picture, true view. It is showing the same as business is. In significant aspect, it is showing the same. Fair, unbiased. I hope this statement meaning is clear. It should not be forgotten. Okay, now the next is we talk about true and fair. The actual now technical meaning. When auditor says financial statement give true view, true means information in financial statement is factual, based on facts, and conforms with reality. what is given here, that really, in reality, it is same. And financial statement has been correctly extracted from accounting record. I have checked that. They have correctly extracted from accounting record of company. You know that closing of accounts and preparation of statements. This process is correctly done. When auditor speaks word true, it has all these meanings. Fair. Information in financial statements is unbiased, free of bias. No discrimination. Yes, it has been prepared independently. It is as per law and standards, as per local laws, as per accounting standards, and show commercial substance of business transactions. I will explain. Note down. Commercial substance of business transactions. I'll explain. Don't you worry. You know, auditor says that these transactions, which are given in financial statements, commercial substance means that they are actually occurred. You know, some transactions, they are fake transaction, cooked by company. Goods are not dispatched, but they record sale. And then they record sale return after a few times. Goods have not moved, but they record sale to show high sale. Then sale return after some time. So commercially something is not happening, but they are recording in the transactions, in accounts. Incorrect. Since goods have not moved, transaction should not have been recorded. Commercial means what actually is happening in the business. Transaction should be recorded as per that. There should not be fake transactions and actually business is not doing anything. You got my point. Is commercial substance is clear? Tell me. Commercial substance is clear? Tell me. Please. Good. Good. Next. The next is material. Because auditor says their material is same. Material means materiality. The word material. Material means relative significance. I have changed the meaning. You have studied other definition. That is also correct. That is also correct. Relative significance of a particular matter in the context of financial statements. Relative significance. What does it mean? Relative means that, you know, one item. Now I ask you, rupees 500,000 are significant amount. You say yes. You ask me, I say yes. But when you ask Ronaldo, he say no. Small amount for me. Sorry. You ask Mr. Hamzah, we will pay you 500,000. Can you come to Mauritius for one lecture? I say, okay, send me ticket. I'm coming on the way. Just thing because it is significant. But you asked Ronaldo, we are giving you 500,000 Mauritian rupees. Can you come to Mauritius? He said, are you crazy? No, I can't come. So it's relative. So it's same as case. A same amount matter may be significant for one business, may not be for another. So materiality is linked to the circumstances, situation, context. So when auditor says, for one company, I am checking the financial statement of, for example, what is the biggest oil company? Aramco, oil company of the world. Aramco. You know Aramco? Aramco is the biggest oil company of the world. I'm checking their financial statements and I see there is a misstatement of $1 million. Okay. There is an error. On the other hand, I am checking the financial statement of Intermart. Misstatement of $1 million. Contact. Huge misstatement for Intermart, for example. For Aramco, it is very small. It is peanut. So despite of $1 million misstatement on Aramco's financial statement, I may say financial statement give true and fair view of company affair because in the context, right? It is very small amount. But for Intermart, same misstatement, huge. We will say huge misstatement. We cannot give true and fair view. That financial statement giving true and fair view of company affair. We cannot say that. We cannot say that. Students, we have done this task. Just 1 minute, please, with me. I'm opening the ACCA study platform, study hub. Just a minute, please. Audit and assurance. Just a minute, please. Yes. Yes. So students, basically there are 2 chapters given here. And okay. Yeah. We have almost covered this whole chapter. This one. Chapter 1 and chapter 2, a few points I have started from here. I will cover in the next class. Okay, I will complete it. What you can do is, by yourself, you prepare it well and quiz 1. Okay, chapter 1 quiz. You can solve it by yourself at home. In the next class, I will be completing chapter 2. Okay, chapter number 2, I'll be doing that. I'm ending class today a bit earlier because I feel like some students will more get enrolled in the next class. They're on the way actually. So then we can better continue it properly. Okay. So auditor's appointment, external audit, second chapter, we will be doing in the next class. Okay. So thank you for joining me today. Anyone, any question you have, you can ask, please. Okay. Anyone, any question you have, please. All the best. We will see in the next class, the next week. Please do the necessary to get, and get enrolled for the session. Some of you are on trial session today. So, and also give me feedback. You can note down my personal contact number as well. I will be sharing with you here in the chat box. Okay, this is my personal contact number. You can reach me anytime via WhatsApp, right? And I normally respond as soon as I am available. The first priority. Okay, this is my personal contact WhatsApp with you people. Okay, so God bless you. See you next Saturday. Take care. Goodbye. Goodbye.